Tezeta Tamrat.
Thank you to my Davidson and my Habesha squad. Once again, my name is Tezeta Tamrat, and I'm really fortunate to be able to present my story with you all. Let me stand. Hello? Okay. So, who here knows the feeling of when your name is mispronounced in class and you feel really cringy, you know, and you're hoping that they're not going to call your name, but ends up being your name? Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one. So that's pretty much a usual occasion whenever I would enter a new space or whenever I would go to class and I had a substitute teacher. And I found that very common with other first gen or any other student in my class that didn't have a common name. And so growing up, I used to really be confused, and I would allow people, especially my teachers, to mispronounce my name just because I wanted it to be easy for them to mispronounce or to pronounce. And so I would either go by Tezeta or Tezeta or whatever way they would pronounce my name, just because I wanted to kind of get that part out of the way so I could kind of introduce myself and other aspects of me. But I didn't understand at that time how critical my name meant and how critical it was for my name to even be given to me by my parents. And the reason why, now looking back, I realized, wow, my name Tezeta, the fact that it was given to me, it wasn't because my parents wanted to complicate my life. And it wasn't because my parents wanted to complicate sort of my interactions and my introduction with people that I was meeting for the first time. But it was because it was such an important thing for them to be able to contribute to me and for me to have a reason to have to explain my name to other people. And so my name Tezeta actually means memories, nostalgia, and it's also the very common genre of music in Ethiopia. So if you Google Tezeta, it would come up as songs and stuff, which makes no sense to outsiders, but to the community it kind of relates to a semblance of longing and memories. And so after that, I was, and brief background about myself as well, I went to Ethiopia for the first time at the age of 15. My family's Ethiopian. And so at the age of 15, prior to, I was really excited for this trip, but deep down, to kind of explain that situation, I was in a predicament because I was going to a land that I had never known, but of a place that I've heard of only in stories or in movies or in the news if something bad had happened. And so just having that as a backdrop to the kind of space that I was entering once I finally went to Ethiopia for the first time, I was definitely shocked, but I was also in a type of identity crisis. When I got to Ethiopia, the first thing I actually said was, Mommy, oh my God, there's toilets. Like, I can't believe there's running water, there's toilets, there's all these different things that Western media really didn't expose me to, but that I kind of had some sort of understanding that it might exist, but I also didn't. And of course that opened up the conversation with my mom, and after that she told me about how there's an income gap in Ethiopia, as there are in many other countries, but that really helped me understand and kind of furthered my understanding of where I was coming from and what was being told in the house by my parents and what was being told out in the media. And so kind of moving on from that, I was able to meet my cousins for the first time, my grandparents. And I don't know about y'all, but like my cousins are like 50 deep, I have a bunch of them. And so that was really exciting to be able to meet everyone and kind of be that, extra really cool cousin from the US. And so whenever we would walk across the street or whenever we would kind of tour the city, when they would give me the highlights of the country, I would always get asked by strangers, especially by Ethiopian men, they would stop me in the middle of the road and be like, are you from the US? Are you from Canada? Where are you from? But this is Ethiopia. this is where I claim myself to be from, and this is where my parents said I was from. But if someone from that country is telling me and asking me and interrogating me about my own identity, that's when I kind of hit that point where at 15 I realized, wow, am I really from Ethiopia? Where am I from now? Am I Ethiopian? Am I American? Because if US Americans, when I'm in the US, don't consider me as American or as US American, to be specific, then at that point, what was I? So this is all 15, 16 age, right? And so moving forward, I continue that sort of interrogation with myself and where I was from and everything, and it carried out to when I got into college. And I was fortunate enough to be matched with Davidson College, and I was able to get the scholarship there. Davidson! I had no idea about Davidson before QuestBridge, so thank you, QuestBridge. But after my freshman year at Davidson, I was exposed to the idea, ironically by my white male professor, that I could be both Ethiopian and I could be American. I could claim both identities and not feel like I was guilty by giving up either or and having to choose either or in a certain space. And so after that, I realized, wow, to backtrack from that, I actually had to solidify my own identity by Googling it. And I mean, that was a life changer for me because I found a Wikipedia page that said Ethiopian-Americans, and it listed all these other people that I had looked up to growing up in the past. And so once I found that Wikipedia page, I screenshotted it and I was like, okay, this is what I am now, this is what I'm going to tell people I am. And after that, I kind of embraced it. I mean, I would write that on my essays, I'd write that in my papers, I'd say I'm Ethiopian-American this, I'm Ethiopian-American that, and I started tossing it around.
Yes,
but afterwards, of course, and through deeper analysis, I realized, okay, this is how I'm going to actually, take on this new identity of mine. And it was a great way to kind of merge those two cultures. So afterwards, I carried on, and fortunately, I was able to declare Africana Studies as my major. Actually, after declaring political science, so let me say that first. I declared political science, but I felt like I was missing something after that. So when I realized there's Africana Studies department, I took Africana 101, and that professor, Dr. Hux, was pretty much a life changer in terms of realizing that that was going to be the major that would set me forward. And so I majored in Africana Studies, but I don't know who else here is either an Africana Studies major or Black Studies or Ethnic Studies or, the untraditional majors that we were not really raised to be told to major in. I found my home and I found my shelter in that major. And so I understand how y'all feel when it comes to looking for jobs or how, that side look or that side glance that you get from family members that say, why would you study something that's your culture? Like, why would you study your own people? And I would have cousins that joke in Ethiopia that would joke and say, why would you study Africana Studies if you're from Africa? Like, what's the point of that? But of course, I know that that's a dangerous misconception. I just want to make sure that I just emphasize the fact that that's not true. You can learn and you can understand and analyze the theories that come behind that discipline, whether it's Latin American studies, whether it's Chinese studies, anything within that gamut, they all count and they all are valid in understanding your experience or the experience of others if you're not from that culture. So my new identity, I'm graduating from Davidson after 4 long years, and y'all know the struggle. And after that, I realized, okay, well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be able to give back with what I studied. So I decided to work as a college advisor through the College Advising Corps program, and I'm actually working as my second year at a Charlotte high school, public high school. And so it's great because I see other first-generation immigrants like myself, and I'm able to kind of help them and guide them through that path of understanding, like most QuestBridge students as well, sort of there's this gap between the schools that we know and the schools that we hear of, or the fact that we don't even know that we can enter and access these spaces of privilege. And so just kind of telling students that they are worthy and that they should deeper understand their self and their self-identity, and that is crucial to actually being able to succeed in college is kind of what I try to strive for. And I continue to do that every single day in my practice. I also volunteer with the Ethiopian youth group in Charlotte, and so that's also been another outlet for me to be able to kind of connect with the youth and be able to tell them that their experiences are valid and that they should further analyze their identity and, of course, anything else that they would choose to do. But thank you all so much for listening to my story. And I just want to end with one note. I'm currently 23. I turned 23 last a week ago. And so, thank you. And so, I've been going 23 years with trying to make sure I correct people on their pronunciation of my name. But every single correction, I feel like I'm making more of a difference in the way I present myself and the way I feel more authentic in myself. And so I really encourage you all to do the same, and thank you all so much.